all hear me? Yes? Yay. Russ has asked me to come along today to talk about creating weather moments. I'm the social media manager at the Metaverse, so I manage everything that goes out on our channels. So you can follow our main account, or you can follow me as well if you like. So today I'm just going to talk specifically around Twitter moments, what it is, how it works, and then how we use it to tell a weather story. Fancy. Wasn't expecting it to do that. So what are Twitter moments? Does everyone know what Twitter moments is? Have they used it as a feature yet? Yeah, no? Okay. So it was launched around about a year ago. So we were one of 19 launch partners. So we're the main web provider for Twitter. So we were there at the launch, and I'll go through our very first Twitter moment we did, which is a great example of using Twitter to tell a story. So, as I said, for us, it provides the latest weather information in a different and engaging way. So we create a variety of Twitter moments, from looking at the weather for the week ahead, 10 interesting clouds, facts about rain, all sorts of different content. And I work very closely with our design studio here, so people like Ross, Dean at the back, thanks Dean. That team to create bespoke Twitter moments. So the feature compiles of pulling lots of tweets together. So we actually create very bespoke, fully animated, fully designed ones to tell a story. We're probably only one of the main providers for Twitter who actually do very bespoke moments for them. So first of all, I'm going to go through the very first Twitter moment we did. So the phone call I had with Twitter pretty much said, what ideas do you have? And it was very close to Christmas, and I was thinking, everyone loves to talk about snow at Christmas, will it be a white Christmas? So we sat down as a team and decided we'd go along with the brief of what are the chances of a white Christmas in the UK. So from a design element, we had to think about, so how can we make these stats interesting? A lot of the time, you can throw out a load of stats and it doesn't really can be a bit dry, a bit dull. So I work with our design studio to make stats look really interesting and tell a story. We also knew that it had to have a really consistent look. So if you've looked at Twitter moments on mobile, you swipe and it needs to flow. It needs to have a sort of a story going all the way through. So we knew it had to have a consistent look and feel and a flow to it. We wanted a bit of subtle branding in there. So we needed to have our sort of brand colours, make it look like it's from the Metaverse, but not so that it took over the whole design. And it had to have a strong story. The key thing about Twitter moments is to get people to engage with the whole moment, to go through the whole story. So it had to have something strong there. And we also knew it had to have animation. So it needed to be engaging and it needed to be interesting. And also, the animations help us to pull out analytics, to see how long people stayed with the moment, how many times they viewed it. So, what we did first was storyboarding. So I think we've still got that in the design studio, our little slate that we had with everything on there. So we sat down, I went through the facts and the sort of story, and we designed it. So there was hand drawing, all sorts of different things. We laid it out, played around with the story, and then we started designing it. The next step was then putting it all together, so having a consistent look to it. So as you can see, we went with the very Christmassy snow look and feel. So there was consistent branding, subtle branding with our logo, with green as we call it within there. So there was a sort of consistent look across it. So anyone who viewed it knew it was from us, but it wasn't sort of taking over the design. We then also worked on optimizing this design for different platforms. So, although most people probably view Twitter through mobile, we have to consider the different ways they are viewing this content. So, it can be through desktop, Android or iOS. So, we started designing templates here that sort of work for different platforms, so that when we were creating the design, it would work across many different platforms, and for a viewer, it would look consistent, wherever you found the moment. And we still continue to use this sort of template in every moment that we've created. And then one of the key things I've said was creating a strong story, but then finishing with a call to action. So for us, we want people to go and look at a forecast, find out more about the metaverse. So we wanted to have that strong call of action at the end. So I finished it with a poll, just asking, do you think it would be a white Christmas this year? So 73% people were right. It was not a white Christmas. So the great thing about putting a poll in is it also tells us how many people got to the end of the moment. So from an analytics point of view, these little tools are really useful because you can't get analytics currently for Twitter moments. So I can't know exactly how many people have seen it, engaged with it, but adding animations, adding polls gives me a ballpark figure, a kind of idea. So like I said, we added, it's not really shown up down here, but there is a sort of graph showing how many views we had that day of the animations that we used in that Twitter moment, so 200,000 plus. So that gives me an idea of how many people probably saw that moment. And then you can see how it looked on mobile on the day when it was launched, featured right at the top. And we knew we had to go with a really striking image. So this image is from 2010 where there was widespread snow. So snow across the UK. So starting with a really strong image. And then I'm going to go over to Action Twitter. So within Twitter you can see there's the moments tab, and then you can see we've, over the last year, created about 87 of them. So if you want advice on creating a Twitter moment, probably your experts. I think it's probably most around here. So you can see we've created loads of different ones, from 10 of the spookiest when we create regular content for Twitter, so we do one on a Monday, one on a Friday, so looking at weather for the week ahead, looking at weather for the weekend. So we do regular moments like that. We do things around sort of today, the start of autumn. So there's loads of different types of moments we create. So you can see these are less design heavy and tend to be just around telling a story. So we have graphics, animations, different things that are pulled together. Hopefully I can show you the first one we did. So you can actually see how it looked. There was one. There's a lot of scrolling going on here. So you can see how our first one looked. So we had animations. So on mobile these were cropped slightly, so they would fit within mobile. So we start with how we define a white Christmas, how often it happens. So you see it had a very consistent look across it, so that it flowed, it had a strong story. So that's how it looked. And then you can actually now create your own Twitter moments. It's not really showing up as well here. Is it more out there? Okay, cool. So you can now actually create your own Twitter moments. So Twitter launched this about a month or so ago. And if you want any of top tips on how to create moments I've discussed, if you follow me on Twitter, I've tagged a moment at the very top, so I've done a moment that explains how to make a moment. Which, yeah, it was fun to do, took ages, but yeah, so have a look if you want to see my top tips on how to do it. But you can see we have a different tool to this that we use. We use something called Moment Maker, which has got slightly more features to it. But from a basic one, it's really easy. You can drag and drop, have a title, add a description. You can then add any tweets. So they don't have to be your own tweets, they can be other people's tweets. You can really play around with it. You can use images, animations, or just straight text. It really depends how you want to tell a story. Some of the best ones I've seen are just people telling a funny story they had and using just tweets by themselves, but it really flows nicely as a sort of story. So you can just play around with it, and then you can publish and promote it around. So it's a really great tool we found for like explaining stories and then using clever graphics and designs to help that. I think that was all I had.
I've got one of the questions, but are there any questions from the floor? David, to come to you first.
Do you have enough clout with Twitter to convince them to allow the uploading of SVG images?
No. Sadly not.
Any others?
So, I'm relatively new to the whole idea of moments. Compared to a traditional click-through link, how would you say, does it improve engagement, or?
It's a difficult one. Like I said, the analytics are really, they are developing some analytics for us so that we can actually see how many people stay with a moment, how much they engage with it. You can kind of tell if you've had like retweets or likes on tweets within a moment as to how it's done. We've seen quite a large increase in our follower growth over the last few months, which can't account singly to this, but it doesn't really make sense as to what else it could be. So I think because we now feature, if you look at moments, the moments guide, which features within the app and everything, we often feature right at the top. So for us, it's great exposure for our brand. So I could probably attribute some of it to this. But then within Twitter Moments, you can now add links, and they appear quite prominently within the tweets. They come up with a little sort of box. So we are seeing more click-throughs from that. So it's difficult to have definitive analytics, and it's irritating, but we can kind of say that it has helped definitely with our engagement and our follower growth. And certainly just getting the Metaphysics brand out there, especially if there's going to be severe weather or a big weather event. This is an amazing tool for us because it pushes the brand right up to the top and gets our sort of authoritative voice out there.
Bear with me.
I'm going to display my ignorance once again. Until you started talking, I've never heard of the Twitter moment. So I voluntarily applied the Twitter app on my tablet, and I tweet Twitter through an app called Twitterific, and I can find no reference to moments anywhere on the user interface.
Oh, right.
So
it should be just within, I think it's just within the Twitter app, so you need to go through the actual app.
So do the components of the moment are tweets?
Yes.
So they appear in the normal tweet stream?
Yeah.
But the moment is actually a curated set of tweets which you can get through the Twitter app?
Yeah.
Right.
So if you go normally to Twitter, you will see it's a little lightning bolt in the middle. So essentially it's just a collection of tweets. So when it started out, you would have to, if you wanted to create a moment like that White Christmas one, you'd have to tweet every single part of that moment to then form a whole. You can get around it by doing stuff like dark tweets, which is essentially an ad, where you push it out, nobody sees it, but only people in the moment see it, which sounds complicated. But that kind of works. That if you're going to do a very detailed one, I'll give you an example actually of one we did earlier in the week. Right, so if I show you the one we did, so this one we did earlier in the week, which was just a bit fun ahead of Halloween. So you can see this looks a bit different on desktop because this was built specifically for that app. So it has a sort of portrait style to it. But that tweet you will not find on our profile. So we pushed it out through ads, put it under a promoted ad, but didn't promote it to anyone. So this is great because previously, if I wanted to create 10 tweets to create this moment, I would have had to tweet every single one out. And from a user coming across our feed, I think we're spamming them. And it was quite an irritating thing. So I spoke to Twitter and said, how can I get around this? And they said, oh, you need to do dark tweets. So these are ads, but you don't promote them, you don't pay for them, but they just exist, and then you can pull the link in. It's a kind of clever back route round to doing it, especially if you're a brand like us where we want to create these stories, but we don't want to bombard people with stuff they might not necessarily be interested in. But then we wanted to do something fun about spooky weather. So that's a kind of way we go around it. And it's certainly something we've been doing on bigger projects that I'm working on. So using moments in lots of clever ways. So look out for those. Does that answer the question? Is that right?
Yes.
Just coming down to the front.
Thanks. I used to work for the Met Office in the Weather and Health team, and one of the big weather and health events is thunderstorm asthma, which happens very infrequently, but can have a really big impact on people and hospitals and GPs. So I just wondered whether you could use moments to deliver information so people can take preventative action.
Yeah, so exactly. This is one of the reasons we want to do moments, is that we've not had any severe weather in the UK yet, for a bit. So earlier in the summer we did ones around the hot weather, and then, like you say, thunderstorms. So we did some, you can sort of see it here, when we knew we were going to have some severe weather, we used moments as a tool to explain the story through lots of different tweets. So making people aware of flash flooding, where the worst hit areas could be, so creating blogs, and then lots of information as well from other partners. So, for example, the Environment Agency might be one around flooding. So it is a useful tool in the sense when we talk around severe weather, and then we can pull in our advice, but we can also pull in partner advice. So we don't really talk about flooding. That's an Environment Agency job. So we can pull in their information into one whole moment around the event and get as much information across the public as possible. And then because of our relationship with Twitter, it means that I can give them a call, an email, and let them know the latest weather situation, and then they can push that moment out to as many people as possible. So we can extend information out to as many people, especially if it's going to be very severe weather. Does that kind of answer that?
Good luck with getting the NHS.
Anna, which moments do you think work best for us? Do you think it's the ones around the weather story, or the ones that are around the fascinating facts?
So this one is probably our most popular one. So I guess it's the moments where it's something unusual and unique. So there was this rare cloud spotted earlier in the year. So we'd seen that it was across social media. So Twitter gave me a ring and said, we've seen this really rare cloud. Can you do a Twitter moment? But can you add in a bit more about the cloud, why it forms, why it's rare, and all sorts of facts. So that's what Twitter uses for, is they want us to tell them about the weather, but they also want us to explain it and add more to it. So the more popular ones are often ones where we sort of collate a load of images together, the public has sent in, and then add a little bit more around the cloud itself. So it's adding a little bit more to the story. So I think it is these ones where it's weird clouds, weird facts, that tend to be the most popular ones we do.
Thank you. Any others from the floor?
So I work for DFID, and we're part of the government's response to natural disasters around the world. I was just wondering if you did one with regard to Hurricane Matthew, Because we saw on the Twitter stream when we used some of the content
Yeah.
that we got from the Met Office in our own content.
Yeah.
But I never noticed the moment. I was just wondering if you do it for other.
So we don't tend to, because we'll do tweets around sort of things like Hurricane Matthew, but we wouldn't tend to do one because they will often ask another partner to do it, so they might ask Vet Service over in the US to do one, or it really depends, or they might do a more news one. It depends sort of what angle they would like. I mean, we can create one, but we try to focus more in the UK. I think that week with Hurricane Matthew, we'd done a weather for the week ahead moment, and then we pulled in a tweet about Matthew within that moment, rather than creating one solely about that. So we tend to Twitter like us to focus more on the UK, and they'll use other Met services to do more of the global weather.
So I'm being greedy, having to do this. So just in terms of deadlines and number of people in your team, how much time would you invest in putting together a Met Office moment?
So when we did our very first one, it took us a week because it was very design heavy and it was the first one and we knew we had to make it look really, really, really good. So we invested a lot of time into it. Now I create 2 a week. So I'm a team of 1 with a little help across the office. So I create all of our moments. So we do 2 a week and it really takes me about 3 hours on a Monday and about 2 or 3 hours on a Friday, just because you've got to really quickly create a story of what the weather is doing. Kind of in my head pull together all the tweets I think I'm going to do, and then I do actually have to tweet those tweets for that moment because they are relevant to what is happening with weather. So it can take about 3 hours just because I've got to stagger things out. So that's a sort of how much time it usually takes on a weekly basis, and it is sort of a priority for us. I do work for other channels, but for us, moments is a really important tool, and we know that Twitter will promote our moments, share them, so it's a big opportunity for us, so it always is sort of more of a priority.
So the last one actually from me, you just touched on other channels. Are the Met Office using other social channels to tell stories in the same way?
Yep.
I actually feel like I should know this probably, but...
Yeah, so our other big channel is Facebook. So that's one I'm actually investing quite a lot of time in now, because it's quite a tricky channel, but we do use, Facebook is very different for us compared to Twitter. Twitter's all about weather right now, weather tomorrow, that's what people want to know. Facebook is all around content, it's all around this sort of learn about the weather. So they're more interested in pretty pictures or facts about rain or facts about snow. 2 weeks ago we had a meteor shower in the UK, so we did a load of forecast graphics just showing cloud cover, and that used quite a lot of very nice design elements to explain the forecast, and that did exceptionally well. I think it was one of our best posts we've ever done. So that was more around, it was a very nice graphic, so it was using that design element to tell the story. Instagram's another one that we're really pushing at the moment, but that's just a case of sharing people's pictures of weather, and it's very easy to do. So that's sort of the other challenge we're on.
That's great, thank you again, Anna.
That's right.